Okay, we're live. This is Roger Lewis from the Grub Street News and Journal, not the Grub Street News, and Conquest of Dough. This is an exciting day. Today we are launching our new video distribution channel on Vimeo, and just flash it up on the screen here. Here it is here. Vimeo. Just going to put view profile, and that should come up with the page. Grub Street Video, Grub Street Journal is a new multimedia platform designed for Web3 and beginning its rollout here on Vimeo. And tonight we are going to premiere at 9 PM European time. We're broadcasting from Sweden, and here is a trailer. Here is a trailer.
Say hello to everybody.
Feedback and Disequilibrium in Human Overpopulation by Stephen B. Kurtz, Countercurrent. Overwhelming evidence has engendered a consensus among global scientists that the human population level and trend are unsustainable. Although we are a part of nature, we may have some choice in the ongoing process of which our numbers are but one variable. Individual, social, and institutional factors are examined, and policy options are considered. Evidence is given debunking the claim that the rich attempt to coerce poor nations to reduce fertility. Carrying capacity and optimum population concepts are discussed, particularly as to equilibrium potential. Prospects for proactive success are entertained. Introduction. A suitable total for the number of citizens cannot be fixed without considering the land. Plato, Laws, v. During the new millennium, many unexpected events and conditions will undoubtedly surprise our progeny and us. Perhaps the decline of fossil energy sources will be rendered benign due to scientific discoveries. Perhaps Factor 10 improvements in technological efficiency will aid in the rehabilitation of the environment. Perhaps our species will self-select for survival tolerances in polluted or otherwise altered conditions. These possibilities are little more than speculations. We can have a bit more confidence that our numbers will not continue the growth pattern of the last century, during which they quadrupled. This paper will briefly explore why it is that a consensus of the world's experts believe the rate of growth will continue to slow, whether or not a reduction or crash is likely, and if it is plausible that stabilization might occur at some level other than extinction. Some people claim that humans are somehow exempt from the sorts of systemic constraints, which limit the populations of other life forms. We indeed have managed to extend our range into vastly diverse habitats due to our adaptive fitness. Language, abstract thought, and reflective consciousness are traits which aided this expansion. However, in a largely closed system.
That is the beginning of the long trailer, and there's a shorter trailer which I actually meant to play there. This is live, so that was a cock-up. But that is streaming tonight, the whole debate. So Stephen Kurtz will give his 30-odd minutes address. It's a text-to-voice cartoon of a paper that he wrote back in 2000, which I fundamentally disagree with. And I've made a response to that, which is just over 30 minutes long. Then Stephen has been sending me emails. He's now blocked me, but he did say in those emails, make these comments when you sort of put this out. So there's a 8-minute response from Stephen then to my rebuttal of his paper, and then I've then made another 8 minutes wrapping up after Stephen's rebuttal of my rebuttal, and all of those are going out live on the Vimeo channel and you can see here they're password protected at the moment. They'll be streaming live. It's a paid for stream download, and if you send me an email, I'll send you a password so that you can watch it. There's a t-shirt site. You can buy a t-shirt. I'm actually wearing one at the moment of the t-shirts. They're great t-shirts. They're made by Mills on the Isle of Wight, and they're made of organic fair trade cotton, and they're actually made, printed and put together on the Isle of Wight in a factory there, and so it's not sort of Chinese slave labour. So anyway, that is going to stream tonight live at 9 p.m. Central European time. I'm in Sweden. That's where I'll be putting the stream up, and it's going out on the Vimeo channel and will be available for download, subscription, etc. etc. Options will all be set out accordingly. Now, I was very excited with this launch coming up when I opened my email this morning, and I'm on David Icke's list, and same old thinking, same old results. I enjoy David Icke's dot connectors, and I've been aware that they've been launching something called Ickonic, and I've really been looking forward to that. And the trailer at the beginning of this video, when your mind opens, you question everything, comes up with this.
A genuine alternative that will cast a light on subjects that the mainstream media, and to be fair, large swathes of the alternative media, either can't or won't.
So that's Gareth Icke, that's David's son. Gareth's a great guitar player, and those of you like me that used to enjoy watching The People's Voice and really enjoyed it, and it launched, launched a lot of alternative media careers. Sonia Poulton, who's the other guy? Rich Hall, and the other guy, the Irish guy based in Manchester, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Anyway, Ickonic really does promise to be very good. So I didn't mess about. I actually subscribed today. I took the $99 subscription, and this is what you get, and it's wonderful. Now, I started doing a video because my team and I, who have been developing the Grub Street News and Grub Street Journal, have independently of David and his team been obviously thinking about the same questions: internet censorship, Google bias and censorship, web monopoly, deplatforming on YouTube, Facebook, state interference in the internet, non-internet neutrality, all of these questions, and anyone that's followed David's, so anyway, I've read lots of David's books and watched his lectures, and I've benefited for years, and I thought, well, I'm just going to subscribe because it's about time I sent David some money, and so that's what I did. Now, this is their sort of home page, and then there's a latest content page, which comes up, and it's got various stuff that's on David's YouTube channel, but there's also stuff that you get if you've subscribed. And this is a similar model to the one we'll be using on Grub Street News and Journal. So these are the featured things. So they have videos, and there's programming, so different people, Amanda's Chambers of Secrets, America Unplugged, and what have you, podcasts. So podcasts, various interesting information, and then they have e-magazines. Now, I'm hoping to be able to speak to David Icke and say, we're producing the Grub Street Journal, and we would be honoured and delighted if we could have some sort of revenue sharing model where our journal and the e-magazine or Ickonic can be put on each other's platform. I believe in open debate, free speech, and I like to look at all sides of a question, and never only two sides to a question. There's a giant, which is a religion concept, Akanyavata, which basically means many-sidedness. Also, Maimonides, the famous Jewish philosopher of the Torah, he also talked about something called contradictions in literature, of which I think he lists about 7. I've written about that, so different levels of understanding, and different viewpoints. There's a famous Bob Dylan song. We just saw it from a different point of view. Now, all very interesting stuff. So that's the magazine. So you click on read now, and it basically puts puts the magazine in your browser, and you can have a read. This is just at random. What's this? White helmets planning another chemical weapons attack in Syria. This is issue number 23, December 17th, 2009. I think that's right. Excellent stuff. And then there's a coming soon. And you can see I'm logged on up here, and it was very easy to subscribe. I have a debit card, and that all went through sweet as a nut, and Bob's your uncle. It's a .com site. I don't know how they host it. They say obviously it's censorship free. They don't censor it, but with a .com address, one suspects that the Google search engines are probably already booting it out. Now, that's where Grub Street News and Grub Street Journal comes in, because we've been developed actually for Web3, the distributed web, and everything we've been designing is for going on the Alexandra Open Index Protocol network, and you'll find lots of technical writing I've done on that. Also, James Corbett did a very good episode on the interplanetary file system, which is a distributed serverless distributed web system, which effectively, as with Napster, BitTorrents, so on and so forth, are uncensorable, literally. Of course, finding them through a search engine, you need to get off Google and get Dissenter, or if I just click here, you can see I've got lots of search engines. That's Vivaldi. Now, they booted a blog of mine off, so I think that they're based in Iceland, but they're obviously corporate shills. Dissenter, very, very good. They're the people behind Gab, which is the alternative to Twitter. Mozilla Firefox is actually not bad. As mainstream browsers go, it's way, way better than Google. Here's Google Chrome here. This one here is the Tor browser. It's a privacy browser. This one here is Beaker browser, and that's person-to-person computing. That is real Web3 stuff. It's the Brave browser. This is the another instantiation of Chromium called Iron. This is Yandex, which is a Russian browser. This is Pale Moon, which is my favourite one. I've actually got that set up as a sort of back in the day Netscape kind of vibe going on. Here's another Chromium, and so on. I have others, Freenet, for instance. So I go from the ultra mainstream right to the very, very geeky with my own computing. So Ickonic, I was so excited to see this, and David Icke, I think, is a wonderful man with very interesting ideas, and he doesn't force them down people's throats. And I say, speak as you find, and give a person a hearing. Listen to what they have to say. And I've listened to a lot of what David's got to say, and I agree with a lot of what David has to say. Now, on that, let me just say this, because I'm an Orthodox Jewish person, and a Jew for Jesus and all the rest of it. and I just wanted to just read this. Okay, this is Rabbi Shlomo Wolb, and let's just have a read here. Political positions. Okay, his work Ben Sheshet Lesor, between the 6th to the 10th, now renamed Olam Hayedias, a world of friendship between God and mankind, etc. But this bit here, this is on Wikipedia. This book is a collection of lectures and talks he gave to non-religious in kibbutzim and to the soldiers of IDF. It also contains a selection of opinion letters he wrote regarding contemporary issues in the Jewish world. He kept distance from Zionism, viewing the Haredi community as a continuity of the old Yishuv. He even quotes Gershom Scholem, that Zionism is the direct outgrowth of Sabbatianism, to prove his point. Now, anyone that has listened to quite a lot of David's recent comments on international global geopolitics and the ruling elites, etc., will have come across Sabbatian Frankism. So here we have a rabbi, a famous rabbi, who died in 2005, but his son is a rabbi who is this is him here, Rabbi Yaakov Wolb, and this is his podcast and classes on the Torah. Now, I'm a keen student of Maimonides, who I sort of paraphrased earlier, but this is very interesting to listen to, and effectively secular Judaism, doesn't recognise statehood. I mean, in the sense that community is everything. It's not anti-nationalist in the sense of these these internationalist sort of Frankfurt School. I think they're Stalinist personally, but what people call what do they call it? Cultural Marxism is a buzzword that people have looked into it will recognise. But Sabbatianism and Sabbatian Frankism and David Ickes' work, and I was reading this morning. I got to this via some old computing stuff. A guy called Alan Kay. But anyway, I digress. But that was quite interesting. Synchronicity, they call it, and wavelengths. I mean, I'm also, amongst other things, I've modelled sound in the past on computers, and frequencies I'm very interested in, and I'm very interested in David Ickes' explanations about the frequencies which our sensory perceptions are in tune with, and outside of those frequencies there's a lot of other stuff going on. Now, as a sound modeler, a computer modeler, mathematical modeler, etc., and a computer modeler, I understand what David is saying. People interested in videos and light and what have you will also do. And these are all issues that actually feed into my rebuttal of Stephen Kurtz's position, which is the Club of Rome position on overpopulation and limits to growth, etc., which is discredited. Paul Ehrlich, there's a comprehensive defenestration of Paul Ehrlich by James Corbett, the Corbett Report. There's a comprehensive rebuttal of the whole of eco-science by Haldren and Ehrlich by Webster Tarpley. And if you look at the scientific literature in the papers, as Albert Einstein says, only one experiment has to prove me wrong. So all this consensus stuff that people like Stephen trot out is kind of anti-science. It's listen to the anti-science, not listen to the science. There's another guy a keen student of is Dr. Jeffrey Glassman and the Rocket Science Journal. But again, getting slightly off track here. Yeah, there we are. Ickonic, the alternative. There is another alternative, which is a new Grub Street Journal. We're a little bit behind the curve of where David has got to with this, but congratulations, David. It's absolutely brilliant. $99 well spent, I must say. I'm so excited, and because I'm so busy today, I won't have a chance to really dig in and savour your wonderful new platform until I've sort of actually got my own launch out of the way. So that is that. I'm going to wrap up here, and I'm just going to play out with what I tried to play us in with. So let's, where are we? Let's have a look here. Bear with me. Right, here we go. That's the long trailer. See, there we are, live now. That's this one. Let's have a look. Where are we? I'm going to play us out with this. Oh, before I go, check out Hypatia's eyebrows. When I was talking about all of that earlier, there's a link here, and this is basically all of the contributors to Grub Street News and Journal, the Slog John Ward, Ranjan Balamakumaran, London Conversation, and David Malone of Gollum X1V. And you'll see I've got a RSS feed from Russia Today, but also from Bellingcat, and I felt I had to say this is here for comedy effect, the Bellingcat thing. A couple of Twitter timelines, Google evil stuff, and then all these things here. So these are automated newspapers for various of my feeds. That's the Brexit Daily, and then this is Wiki Ballot, which is a open democracy, not an open democracy, it's a direct democracy wiki that I built with John Ward. Lean Pub, that's a P2P publishing network, very interesting. Scuttlebutt, another person-to-person thing. This stuff and where we come from is Web3, and I look forward to helping David Icke get Ickonic in front of people. Not that he needs that much help from me, but on Web3, David, here's the hand of friendship, and I've benefited and learnt so much from you over the years. The least I can do is stick my shoulder to the wheel, as it were, and you know, let's finish the job and let's set humanity free. So Hacker Noon, that's a good. I like reading that. But without further ado, let me just play. Here we go. We're going to play this one.
Feedback and Disequilibrium in Human Overpopulation by Stephen B. Kurtz. Countercurrent. Variable, individual, social, and institutional factors are examined, and policy options are considered. Evidence is given debunking the claim that the rich attempt to coerce poor nations to reduce fertility. Carrying capacity and optimum population concepts are discussed, particularly as to equilibrium potential. Prospects for proactive success are entertained. Finally, I will venture into the realm of speculation to consider the prospects for success in the self-determination of equilibrium. Peace and the minimization of future suffering seem to be related to the ultimate outcome.
As I have said, there are several issues on which I would take issue with you philosophically and also with respect to your interpretation of what a systems view is. Stephen's paper is summarized for him in a monument known as the Georgia Guidestones. The inscribed summary is this.
26. J. Kenneth Smale, professor of anthropology and sociology at Kenyon College in Ohio, has an argument for a sustainable optimum of approximately 2 billion by the beginning of the 23rd century.
Flat smell, not the smell.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the news brought to you by Grub Street News and Journal. Context and motivation behind the narratives. www.grubstreetnews.com. So you can register on the site there. It's a work in progress, very busy today, and just another shout out, Ickonic, the alternative, David Ickes' new, extremely exciting, fantastic platform for presentation of all the issues, all the questions, and everything you always wanted to know but was too afraid to ask. Ickonic, the iconic David Icke, Ickonic, the alternative, and Ickonic.com. And as I say, I've subscribed. It was there were two options: $99 for everything, which I went for, or $50 for just David Icke. Just David Icke. I mean, David Icke at $99, cheap at twice the price, as they say. So there you have it. I'm going to sign off now, and I suppose really I ought to just finish with the Vimeo channel, and through the day I'll be publishing updates on how all these things, they're basically they're pre-made cartoons which I'm going to stream live. So you've got the Kurtz essay, my rebuttal of that, his response, that's Steve's response, and then the my rebuttal. I'll just play you a bit of my rebuttal because this is quite so this is going to go out live later.
Hello Stephen, thanks for all of those points. Your notes were taken into account and faithfully reported in a summarized live stream which was just played. Your words spoken of course by Steve, Bring the Doom, Kurtz. If I may, I will now adopt the alter ego of Roguro. Looney Tune, Roger, the Slogger, Lewis. Winston Churchill said that the USA and Great Britain were two people.
So it's great fun, these cartoon training video things. I've actually just made one about an ongoing complaint I have with Scottish widows, where they've sent me all the tape recordings, etc., and they're not for public consumption, but I've got some editing to do on those before I send them back and see if we can come to some sort of agreement as to, I feel I was misled. But anyway, there you go. That's that. Grub Street News and Journal, context and motivation behind the narratives. grubstreetnews.com. See you later online, and if you can't be good, be careful.